Okay, thanks to Nora and to ChemAxon for inviting us to come and talk. My name's James Baxendale from Synaptic Science. And some of you may have heard of our flagship product, SEURAT, before. So we'll be talking about that a little bit today, but also some other products that we do provide. And our company is really all about trying to help researchers discover new drugs faster. So productivity enhancement for project teams that are trying to take a small molecule project forward as quickly as they possibly can. And so quickly, a little bit about the company, our customers and products. We are going to talk about SEURAT primarily, but we do have other products. And so we started life inside a drug discovery company, Slow Genomics, and SEURAT was developed on the job and was used by 150 or so scientists at Solera. And then in early 2006, they decided to get out of that drug discovery business and become a diagnostics company. And so we formed Synaptic Science to take SEURAT out into the life sciences marketplace, and that's a bit of a description of the kind of people that work in the company. We currently have top 15 pharma deployments and over 1,500 end users licensed across various different sizes of companies, from the smallest sort of virtual biotechs where all of the people are working throughout the US and even overseas, and that's using the hosted version of SEURAT, and then to large deployments globally within pharmaceutical companies. So the products that we provide are SEURAT, which stands for Structure, Exploration, Utility for Rational Therapeutics. And that comes in three different possible editions. Personal is kind of like a desktop standalone version. Enterprise is the one that people probably are most familiar with. And more recently, we have a hosted edition that runs over the standard web ports with SSL encryption. So it is truly secure. And then we have a visualization toolkit. And then the last two people probably know a little bit less about. Available screening compounds is for collecting together information from vendors that you may be purchasing compounds from, predicting some properties for those compound libraries, and then giving you a way to search that space and then make orders. And then the computational functional group replacement is for doing an end-by-end comparison of a set of compounds, usually in-house, to look for the transformations that are going on to get from compound A to B, to give your medicinal chemists some ideas about things they might try based on techniques and avenues that the medicinal chemists have taken in the past on earlier projects within the same company. And then just on the bottom, we're trying to make the point here that SEURAT is meant to be used by every member of the project team in a small molecule drug discovery environment, and we are also starting to support efforts in biologics as well. So that's medicinal chemists, comp chemists, the biologists, structural biologists, preclinical, through DMPK and safety and tox, as well as the project management. And so a little bit more, because we don't have much time, about SEURAT only. If you want to learn about the other products, come and talk to me in the exhibit area. It's a rich internet application that's trying to help you speed up the drug discovery process. And it's specifically designed for dealing with the output from a screening campaign and performing the hit to lead and lead optimization functions, and then also bringing in the early stage preclinical data from DMPK safety and tox studies. And its whole mission in life is to fit as seamlessly as possible into your existing environment. So unlike a lot of products that do some similar things to SEURAT, we don't come into your organization and say, here's a database schema that you have to use. We can actually configure SEURAT to access the data sources that you have today and the ones that you will have in the future without having to do any coding. It's just through configuration options that are provided through an administration interface. And if people want to learn more about that, I can give you some demonstrations of that. But it's not just accessing a set of databases, but it's also giving you access to all the tools that you may have already invested in. So in-licensed databases, as well as your primary therapeutic database, as well as pipelines that you might have developed in KNIME or in Pipeline Pilot, your own homegrown property calculation tools, or ones that you might have from ChemAxon or any of the other vendors that provide property calculation tools. And so that's one of the great strengths of SEURAT. The second strength, I think, and the way to think about this is, you've seen some descriptions of KNIME, and everyone knows what Pipeline Pilot is. And so you can build a pipeline of steps to build a report that you want to be able to replay over time to get new data on your project. Work out, where am I in my project right now? What's the status? And we want to get together as a team and work out how we're going to optimize the competing series that we have underway to get over some liability that we have. And so the difference between SEURAT and, say, a KNIME or a Pipeline Pilot is you use the familiar sort of Excel interface to say, I want to bring new data in with a single click, and that might result in calling some other property calculation or doing a query on the fly, but it's going to remember all those steps, almost like a script, that you can then replay That's why we call what SEURAT produces live reports, because they're always live. You can always re-execute them, and it's not remembering just the results you got yesterday, but it's letting you search for new compounds with structure searching, search for new property predictions, better computations you might have. And this is trying to drive that point home. Whenever you build a live report in SEURAT, you can actually email the links of these around. So even though SEURAT is an application, it doesn't run inside a browser. It's actually a Java application, but can be deployed, obviously, centrally through a web environment. And that's how we do the hosted version of SEURAT, which you access, from a machine on the web, or in some sort of hosted, secure hosted environment. But we do also have kind of the notion of generating a web version of the data you're looking at in SEURAT. So you can have kind of two classes of reporting, one where you've got the full-fledged power of SEURAT, and the other where you want to just publish some results to a web application. We use Flex at the moment for doing that. And then, so that's really talking about the sort of enterprise SEURAT and looking at some of the possible uses you might imagine for the hosted version of SEURAT. And we do have some customers that are using SEURAT in this way. Generally, the smaller virtual biotech companies, where they will basically be all over the US and maybe international locations as well. And they're using SEURAT for their sort of query analysis, visualization, reporting. But we did also recently add the ability in SEURAT to do registration. We've always had batch registration, but now we do also have interactive registration of both chemical compound data and single point and multi-point concentration assay results, so SEURAT is being used by some companies as pretty much their end-to-end solution. But we can fit in either way. We can either be that solution, or if you've already got a registration system, you've already got a lot of databases and tools that you've brought in, then SEURAT can sit within that environment with very little cost to you to get it deployed and try it out. This is another sort of interesting idea that I've started trying to discuss with some people, and there's always the issue of security and will people trust putting compound structures out there in a hosted environment. But you could imagine a CRO and a pharma who are doing work together, sharing the results through a hosted version of SEURAT rather than having to send SD files or documents back and forth between one another. This is just a quick couple of screenshots of the interactive registration. So on the left there we have the, whoops, wrong button. On the left we have the compound registration, on the right the assay registration, and just showing you that you can control all of your control vocabularies for things like scientists and notebooks, assays, and assay protocols. And then just to finish, I was talking mainly, I guess, there's both the benefits from the end users and there's the benefits from the technology side. And here, and you've all got, a lot of you have this presentation, so I would encourage you to have a look at those points there in terms of the way that SEURAT can facilitate the actual informatics people within a company really getting great results out to their project team. And so thanks for the time, and thanks to ChemAxon.